Thank you for the
Okay.
reminder.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, well, welcome to the, what is today, the May 19th meeting of the Participatory Budgeting Committee. We have 3 members present. This is going to be a fairly short meeting. We were hoping to have an RFP, RFP respondents to assist us with administering our $3.5 million participatory budgeting fund. It appears that we have not had respondents to the initial RFP. And so we are, it says in the memo there that we're going out for an RFP again, but my understanding, Matthew, is that we were going to do direct negotiations with the group. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So in the memo, it said, all right, so the memo says we're hoping to do an RFP process because after talking with the purchasing department in the city, it's just a preferable method, just as long as, right, we want someone to respond to the RFP this time. So we're kind of in the process right now of figuring out if the organization mentioned Deliberation Works will be able to respond to the RFP, or if a direct negotiation would be better. But from the city's perspective and understanding of the purchasing department, it would be better to do an RFP.
Is there any feedback from the committee?
Yeah. So go ahead, Bobby.
No, you can go ahead.
Now, I was just going to ask if we know there's really only one likely respondent, why would we go through an RFP process rather than just negotiate directly? I mean, I'm in favor of whatever is legal and expeditious.
Well, and that's
Just
what
to
we
pile
have.
on that. Just to pile on that real quick. I thought we already went out for an RFP and no one responded, so that's where I'm confused.
And I'll just to add my voice there too. I would like us to directly negotiate if it's within the legal possibilities. Let's just do that, and let's not, both burden our own system or whoever is the respondent is. Let's make it more direct.
I will check with the purchasing department
Hey.
to see if that's feasible. But Sarah,
If I could just add something, I am looking at the infamous Part 200 Uniform Administrative Requirements.
Part 200, man, I only
My
made it to Part
favorite
199.
Put yourself to sleep reading material. And this is under the section, the procurement. And there is a section under procurement that talks about procurement by non-competitive proposals. And one of the circumstances under which one can do this is number 4, after solicitation of a number of sources, competition is determined inadequate. And I would argue that we went through an official RFP process and did not get any submissions. So we have found that process to be inadequate, and we can do negotiations directly.
Yeah, I think that's the best route forward. We have that's what I remember from the first process, Sarah mentioning that we had to do the RFP, and so we've done it. Didn't get a respondent. Let's just let's close the deal now with the group that is both suitable and has the capacity.
That works for me.
For once, I can bring good news with this.
Yes.
Part 200 to the rescue.
Yeah, I was concerned that Part 200 was gonna. Go ahead, Bobby, or Councilmember.
Well, you keep going, because I think you're going to answer my question right now, because I missed the end of the 200 point thing and whatever.
It's good news. So we've gone through the procurement process. We're able to do a direct negotiation.
Okay, that's what I thought. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so I guess let's say if I can have a motion to that effect, to instruct staff to, someone can just say so moved, to instruct staff to enter into direct negotiations with Matthew. What is the organization's name?
Deliberation works is a,
Del-
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's-
with
I'll make,
deliberation work
Mr. Chair, I'll make that motion.
moved by Councilmember Nusma, seconded by Councilmember Burns.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Or I'm sorry,
Aye.
we were virtual, so we have to do roll call. Councilmember Nusma,
Aye.
Councilmember Burns. Myself is an aye. Great. Okay, we have instructed staff to enter into direct negotiations regarding the partner for our participatory budgeting work. Is there any other feedback?
I would say I wasn't able to look at this memo. I'm doing a bit of in-state traveling. So Matt, could you talk a little bit about the organization? I think we've talked about them before, but I just want to make sure I know I'm on the same page about who they are.
Right. So the memo doesn't go too in depth about Deliberation Works, but Deliberation Works is a subgroup of the Delta Lab based out of Northwestern University. And so they have previously presented to this committee about an online platform they had created to support participatory budgeting in hopes to be helpful. And after kind of going through the RFP process, I think they initially did not think that they were going to be the main people, so they didn't respond. But I think after going through the RFP process, they've expressed interest. So yeah, are there any other specific questions you have?
And you say by going after going through the RFP process, they didn't submit a proposal for the RFP, did they?
No.
Okay. I recall that have they done this before?
So they have never been the primary consultant on a participatory budgeting process.
And so what happened to the other ones that like even like Taya Crumb's group, what happened to some of and I probably should have asked these questions before we just voted on it, but I actually assumed it was going to be like Taya Crumb's organization or one of the organizations that had, as you put it, have been the primary consultant on a project. Do they just not have any interest on working on this and no capacity at this point?
Right. So after submitting or putting out the RFP, we got no responses, and we asked the people we submitted it to. So Taya Crumb's organization, the Great Cities Institute, and then the Participatory Budgeting Project. And both of them said that they didn't have capacity to take on this project.
Okay, thank you.
If I could maybe make a suggestion, I think that obviously staff can work with them and figure out what, aspects might have made them not feel that they could take on the whole process, but work with them and figure out there could be another source for some of the work that we could then come back and see if it could be split that way if need be. I think that that's the sensible thing to do, because we want to get this moving. And I think we have indications that we have a very strong partner that may not, in many, many cases, you have more than one organization working together to do something. And this might be an opportunity, to come up with a recommendation of that sort.
And Sarah, I'm glad you said that, because I was going to jump back in and say just that even if we can bring them on as to consult or to lend some support or advice in key areas, I think that would be advisable, considering this other group hasn't actually led an effort, been the primary consultant on an effort like this one. And we want to make sure we do it right, because obviously, from my point of view, I can speak for myself that I would love for us to continue to do this when possible. And I think the in order to do that, we need to, the council will have to have confidence in this process as well as the community. So let's make sure we put our best foot forward, even if we have to, combine different organizational support to get it done. So I agree, Sarah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Sarah. Thank you, Councilmember Burns and Nusma and Matthew. Is there any further feedback or discussion on this item?
None here.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our agenda. Sorry, go ahead, Sarah.
Did you approve the minutes? I missed that.
Oh, my apologies. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of our previous meeting?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Nusma, seconded by
Second.
Councilmember Burns. Thank you. Councilmember
Aye.
Nusma?
Aye.
Councilmember Burns. Thank you.
Aye.
All right. So we've approved the minutes. We were hoping at this point to have an RFP to review and approve, but we are a step behind. So Sarah and Matthew and Dave, how would we say, how long do you think we'll need to enter into have a proposal from this group? 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
We can provide them the request for proposal that we sent out previously, and then they'll have to provide a proposal back to us on the scope of work that they're going to perform, as well as the anticipated cost for that. And then we'll have to see if there's gaps and if we have to bring in other contractors or consultants to fill those gaps. And then there's always, we're going to want them to execute the city's contract. And so they'll have to review that and determine if it's acceptable to them. So it could take 2 to 3 weeks, I think, till we get through all that. But we will send a proposal to them this afternoon and request them to provide a proposal back to us at the earliest convenience.
Quick note, it would be the ARPA contract, though, not the city standard contract.
Okay, the ARPA contract.
Great. And so does that, does the first meeting, let me see, make sure I'm looking at the calendar right.
The next council meeting is on June 13th, so we would have to have everything wrapped up by June 3 if we're going to take it to city council.
Yep, so how about does June 2nd, Thursday, June 2nd at 1:30 work for everyone?
Works for me.
Okay, well, we'll lock that in. So then we'll have that back by then. And we'll come meet and hopefully be able to approve that first contract. Okay, with no further business.
Same time on that date, right, Chair?
Yep, 1:30.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
On the
Thanks.
Okay, great. Matt, if you can just send out the calendar invite for that, folks don't already have it, or they couldn't have it. And then we'll meet then. All right, seeing no further business before us, unless there's any public comment. I know up top I asked, but now that we've gone through our discussion, I'll quickly ask. And seeing none, I call this meeting adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.